All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin, and this is my wife.
Hey, hold on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin, and this is my wife,
Brittney.
And we've been together for 15 years while being married 14 of them. And in this year, 2017, in August, we'll be celebrating our 15-year anniversary. Now, I know some of you all might be looking at us like, man, they don't look that old, because we're not that old. When we got married, I had just turned 21 and she was 20. And many people were just saying, man, we were probably crazy or probably foolish for getting married that young. And we were.
Yeah, we were.
But many of the qualities and things that she had and that things that we saw in each other, I'm not surprised that we're still together to this day.
You're not?
No, because there were certain qualities that I noticed how we dealt with one another that I didn't feel like. I felt like that being together for as long as we have, it was possible. I did think it was possible.
Yeah, I thought it was possible. I wouldn't have married you if I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, so it's just like with all of that, the expectations I had for getting married and getting married to you, and I always tell you this all the time, that not only that you met them expectations, but you exceeded those expectations. We met on America Online and a Washington, D.C. chat room. And this is when you met people online before it became the norm to do online dating, like your Match.coms, your eHarmonies, you know, stuff like that. So, and then as young as we were too, because I think what, I was 19, we're 19. Yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy. But when we first met, by this time I'd already met a couple other females off of AOL, so this was just like, you know what, this is the last time I'm not meeting anyone else. And it wasn't even, I had really no intentions of ever asking her out on a date. The only reason why I asked her out in the first place, because the ex-girlfriend that I had at that time, she was dating another guy, and she kept telling me, well, why don't you go ask her out? Ask her out. She nagged me about it. And I said, oh, you know what? All right, fine. I'm going to ask her out and see if she'll say yes. If she doesn't, that's fine. If she does, that's fine too. So, you know, I did. I sent her an email, and I was pleasantly surprised that she said yes. So,
I was surprised too. You caught me on a good day.
So, you know, we went out on a date. Went to go see Tomb Raider. I'll never forget the first movie we saw together. It was Tomb Raider, and it was a pretty good movie. And after that, asked her if she want to go on a date after that, and just kept going out. You know, it was pretty good. You know, when first meeting her, it was just somebody who was cool, somebody I didn't mind, you know, hanging out with and chilling with. It was crazy just how the more and more we started hanging out, the more and more I started realizing, like, okay, you know, she's pretty cool. You know, this is somebody that you could say that, you know, she was more than just somebody that just looked good on your arm, even though we were still never in a relationship. It was just always dating, and more dating, which I'm not saying that in a complaining type of way at all.
He was complaining.
I had no problem with that.
Yes, you did.
It was only one time I actually had a problem with that, but everyone else I knew had more of a problem with it than I did. I wasn't the one that had the main problem. To be friends with benefits, I wasn't complaining. You had me though, because after we had went out on a date one time, went to the Baltimore Harbor, and we told each other that we loved each other. You know, it was some people that came that wanted to cause some issues or be a form of temptation. But at the end of it all, it's just like, you know what? I've already put and established this much time and the type of person and woman that she's been in my life. It would be foolish for me to go in another direction with somebody else than to continue to ride this thing out with the woman that I have right now. And yeah, some people thought I was crazy, but hindsight is 20/20. So you look at us now, it doesn't look that bad. Look that bad. I make it sound like I settled or something like that. Look that bad. Now, after dating, you know, for some time, we started getting to a point where I started asking myself, like, all right, here it is, we're dating. you know, whatever. Now, it wasn't never such a quote unquote about marriage, but it's more so like as we were dating, she started going from somebody who was just cool to somebody who I could see myself getting married to somebody who I wanted to marry. The qualities and characteristics that she had, and I keep talking about, of course, yes, she could cook, and she could cook very, very well. Probably little to no things that she can't make, especially if it's something that she's tried and had. We go out to restaurants, we order certain food, and then she'll get mad and say, man, I spent all this money on this, I can make this myself at home. And she does. You know, I'll never eat Red Lobster cheddar biscuits again. I don't have to, because she can make them, and probably make them just as good, if not better, than Red Lobster. I used to go to Chipotle and get their chicken bowl. I don't do that anymore. She made that at home. So it's like, she could cook. Yes, that's a great quality, but that's not the reason why I fell in love and wanted to marry her. The key thing that changed my whole mindset and why I wanted to marry her, it was right after I stopped working for a temp agency. I'm driving around this light blue neon, and I didn't really have no money like that, you know, because I was in between jobs. I was broke, I ain't had no money, but yet she still wanted to hang out with me, still wanted to spend time with me. And then anytime there was a direction or something I wanted to move in, and I asked her opinion about it, the amount of support that she gave, the fact that she, you know, she would listen to me, give, you know, really good feedback and information. And then when we started telling folks that we wanted to get married, and to see how she was willing to defend how she felt about me, even though to everybody else I basically looked like a guy with no future. Like the guy you see who's been working at, you know, name any store, Target, Walmart, Safeway for like 20 years and never did anything to get an education or anything. I was supposed to be that guy. And the fact that she supported me when I said I had other bigger dreams or goals or aspirations, you can't get that. You know, me, even as young as I was, I saw how important it is to have somebody that has that much support, you know, in your life. So I can say, yeah, would I have accomplished or did something in my life had she not been there? Yeah, but having her there and having that support, it gave me that extra motivation I needed to let me know that the things that I want to do are not going to be just for me, but it's going to be for our relationship and the success of our relationship. Just thinking back and looking on that, yeah, it's kind of like, and I don't mean to bring this up, but it's kind of like how you hear your father talk about your mother. That's how you are to me. You know, this house we have, the children, you know, where I'm working at, I don't have these things if you weren't there, you know, because I wouldn't have had the motivation to push and go in the direction I did had you had not been there. I probably would have joined the military, which is not a bad thing. And as far as relationships, who knows? I'd probably be divorced by now. I have a baby mama, because to have this type of relationship that we have and the things that we've gone through these things together. We haven't gone at each other through things, we've gone together through things. So to have that support, to have that love, and to have you in my life, yeah, I would have been foolish. And I know I'm kind of just rambling and just talking. It would have been foolish for me not to have married you. Now, that's not to say that I did it when we did it because I was thinking all these things then. No. Then it was just because of the support that you gave me, and the fact that even when I was broke, you had many other guys who were basically going for your attention, that had a lot more money than I did, had their own places, was willing to pay your way through school and do all these things for you, and you didn't. You stuck it out with me, the guy who had no job and was living at home with his father. And yet you still stuck that out. And then the other thing was, when I wasn't working, how we would go to Blockbuster, rent a movie, you would fix something, sometimes taking your money that you were supposed to be using for paying for school or transportation, and make food. And that was like some of the best nights. Now, I'm not saying I want to go back to those nights, because we were broke. So I don't want to go back, but it's like I said, it's a stepping stone, and it's a part that was important. That fast forward 15, nearly 16 years later, where we are right now, I'm not surprised, because to seeing those things you did then, I can only imagine what would have happened when we had more, when you were able to do so much when we had less. So yeah, I know that was a long-winded answer on how she was the one. Hers is gonna be much shorter than mine. But that was it. And I mean, this is, like I said, when it comes to talking about her and the relationship we have, I can go on and on and on about this, but for the sake of this video and time, I won't.
I don't even know how to follow up to that.
So I should have let you go first.
I know. How did I know you were the one? I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring that out. I knew that you were somebody I wanted to spend my life with because just the thought of you not being in my life made me sad. And no one's ever done that before because, you know, I was in a lot of relationships, but I had a lot of guy friends and they would come in and out of my life. And I wasn't sad when they were gone. But I remember one time we were talking on the phone and you were like, you know what? There's nothing keeping me here. You know, I think I want to move. And I'm like, there's nothing? Like, what am I? Am I nothing?
Yeah, I remember that.
I was very upset about that.
Yeah, because I was like, I want to move. I was thinking about moving to Atlanta because I have family down in Georgia. And I was like, you know what? Other than my dad, there's nothing keeping me here in Maryland.
I'm like, really? So that's when I knew. At that moment, I knew he was the one. But, you know, I had to keep him guessing. I didn't tell him that. But, you know, I knew at that point in time, like, I can't see my life without him. You grew on me. You're still growing on me.
Yeah, likewise.
You know, I'm not tired of you.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you can be with somebody for so long and you think you know everything there is to know about them, but depending on situations and things that come up in life, a new attribute or thing about them you didn't know before comes up. And that's one of the things that kind of kept us together. For me personally, it's trust. You know, the type of relationships I've had with females in my life, especially my own mother, when it came to trust, you didn't know if somebody was always going to be there or be consistent. And one thing I can say about Brittney is that she's been a consistent thing in my life. You know, who she was when I met her and how she was, she's been the same way. You know, she's not the same person, but as far as those attributes of things that I fell in love with and things that I knew that I could depend on, she has been consistent with that, you know, throughout all of these years. And just that trust, that communication, you know, one thing I love about her that annoys me that many other people do in their relationships is when it comes to communication is that when she's mad at me, she won't talk to me. Like, she'll give me the silent treatment. She won't nag me, won't get in my face, you know, so on and so forth. And to be honest, I'd rather prefer that because I can out talk somebody or try to talk, you know.
As you can see.
So I prefer that, but she gives me the silent treatment and that drives me insane. But when it comes to something she feels strongly about and that's something that needs to be addressed, she will communicate it. And over the years, we've learned how to communicate to each other in a way where the other person can receive what you have to say.
And plus, you don't want me to say what I'm thinking at that moment when I'm upset with you. So you better be glad that I take that time to give you the silent treatment because there'll be some hurtful things coming out of my mouth at that moment.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it because the one thing for us being together for as long as we have, we know things about each other. We know things that can push each other's buttons. And, you know, and of course, there are many times of things, of course, I'm thinking I can say hurtful things. And, you know, that's why usually when you do give the silent treatment, that's why I don't chase you, I don't follow you, you know, I don't say the first thing I'm thinking, you know, at that moment. But it's something that you learn over time, you know. It's always about keeping that love and that happiness, that peace in your home than trying to win an argument or trying to make somebody feel how you feel in that moment and how they make you feel. It's tempting, you know, but then I ask myself, is it really worth it? Because, you know, there's a lot of things that goes on out in the world, but one thing I can say I'm happy about is that I have peace at home. And when I could come home and it's peaceful, and then when we are at odds at each other, that it is best to, you know, part for a moment, calm down, and then come back. We can stay consistent with certain things that helps keeps us together, and it's always information that we pass to others because as we've seen, as long as we've been married, people that we've known has been married, either they didn't last very long or you start to see their relationships unravel because they stop communicating in a way that they can receive and learn and move towards staying together in those relationships. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it.